Hey folks, Jeff here at Backcountry. Appreciate you stopping by the channel today. Thanks for joining us as we continue our electrical work. We built this big metal building and we're trying to get electricity to it. We made a decision last year that we were going to go on the grid, and we've been running generators now since 2012. And it's time to get hooked up to the power and use generators as a backup. And of course, we're going to add solar and things like that, different capabilities in as well. But our project right now is getting everything wired up and getting ready so that we can get connected to the power. And there's certain things that the power company requires me to have done on my end before they will come out and connect service. And so that's what we've been working on. So join us as we continue that work, and well, that's where we're at. Stick with us. Let's see how it goes. All right, folks, just so you can see what we got going on here. So I completed the conduit. It's all hooked up and everything. I also put in that piece of conduit that I wanted for the top and drilled through the purlin. So that piece is set up. That's just an adapter there right now, but I will be hooking some conduit to it later. Just wanted to get that piece in place before I put the wire in, so it's not in my way. And you notice I got that vacuum hose there. That's just a piece of shop vacuum line. That's I think a 2-inch line, 2.5 inch actually. And I got that little piece of duct tape holding it together into the smaller line of my small portable shop vac. And so we're going to turn that on, and that's going to provide some suction so that we can suck our mule tape. So we've got a spool of mule tape here. I'm putting that on a screwdriver so it can turn freely. This is a 5/8 inch mule tape that is 1,800 pounds. And so I've got that tied on to just a Walmart or Lowe's shopping bag. And I'm going to stuff that into my conduit. And then once I turn the vacuum cleaner on, I'm hoping that the vacuum provides enough suction to suck that through. Let me go over here and turn on the shop vac, and let's see if it works. Should. And you can see it pulled that line tight. It started to go and then it kind of stopped. There we go. And that you can hear the vacuum cleaner loaded up. That should have sucked it all the way through. Hopefully that did. And we can see there's our mule tape. And so, yep. And there we go. I just pulled it back through. And so now I've got the mule tape sucked all the way through the conduit. And that is not a high-powered shop vac. That's just a little portable one on a 20-volt battery. So, small vacuum, big vacuum, doesn't matter as long as you can get enough seal. It will suck that through. Simple trash bag or grocery bag, whatever you want to call it. And that's all there is to that. Next thing I'll be doing is connecting my mule tape to my wires, and then we'll see if we can start pulling that wire through that conduit. Alright, well, I'm doing this by myself. I'm trying to pull 4 wires at once. That's 3 3/0 wires and 1 number 2 through 2.5-inch conduit. Now you would think that'd be simple, but it's not. So I was able to push and pull and work for every inch, and I was able to get it all the way down into here somewhere in this last 90, but I just wasn't able to get it to go through that bend, and no matter what I did, push, pull, it didn't matter. I just couldn't make it happen the way I was trying to do it. So sometimes you gotta improvise and try something a little bit different. So I've got my mule tape, which is rated at 1,800 pounds. I tied a knot in it. I put a bar inside the knot. Why did I do that? So that I can untie it when I'm done. If I let that tie in a knot and then I pulled on it, it would pull that knot so tight that I couldn't get it out. So that's a little hack. I took a piece of bar, put it inside the knot, just taped it on there so it would hold steady. Then I've got a pulley block hooked onto the pull tape, and look at that. I've got a 1,320 pound pull winch here, and it's got this remote control. So now I can actually push and pull at the same time, but what I'm finding is that I don't actually have to. I'm just inching it along. And it is pulling it through little by little. I pull it a little bit. That thing is tight. It's still pulling tight on the wires in there. And then I walk over to the other side, check to make sure that my wires are still all good. Help them out a little bit if need be. Everything feels good there, and so then I continue that way and keep pulling it through, using that winch for a little bit of mechanical advantage. And that's how I'm pulling this cable through there all at one time. Maybe I could have done individual strands and pulled them one at a time and back and forth, but hey, this is working, so I'm gonna continue with it. And there we have it. The end of our wire has come through, and that's pretty awesome. We were able to pull it through. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull out 3 or 4 feet so that I got something to work with, because I still got to feed it back through that hole and back into that outside panel to make this all work. The bottom line is that our winch trick did the job. Alright, so we got this panel wired up, neutral, both hots, line 1, line 2, however you want to look at it. The ground I have not connected yet. I need to get a lug that'll fit on that grounding bar. So I did this panel different. Normally the way the panel was set up to be was this would be the neutral. This side you could connect the ground, they would be bonded, or two, I don't know why it had two neutrals. Anyway, I bought these grounding bars separate and added them in just because I think it'll organize out better. And neutral and ground are not bonded because this is considered by the book a sub panel, even though it's one of my mains. It's after the first disconnect. The first disconnect is bonded, so that's the rules, and that's how it makes it safe. So anyway, that's where we're at on this one. Nothing left to do in here for now. Now it's time to move all our wire outside and start wiring up all those panels out there. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Alright folks, I've been out here most of the day working on wiring, just taking it slow, one step at a time, learning as I go. Yes, I've made a few mistakes. Got a few pieces of cut off wire to prove it. So those mistakes cost money, of course, but it is what it is. So let's look at what I've done, where I'm at, and what I think I got left to do. So starting at the meter, which is, you know, in the middle and where the service line will come into, you can see that I've got two sets of wires going out. That's two hots and a neutral, and each one goes to a separate disconnect on each side of that. So you've got the line coming in and the load going out, and then of course you see the green wire is the addition. That's where we pick up ground. At the first disconnect, the ground and neutral are bonded. So basically there's a little green screw in there, and what that does is that screws through this neutral block and into the housing of the or the casing, whatever you want to call it, and that's where the ground connects. And so that means they're bonded together. In other words, there's continuity between them. Here, what we still have to do on the meter base is we've got to put in the ground conductor. So that means we're going to take two 8-foot rods. I don't think we need two, but I'm going to do two. I think in Texas you only have to have one. Anyway, we'll take those and put them into the ground and use some bare grounding wire that'll come up through conduit and in there, and that'll go into this slot. So in this slot, the ground and the neutral are also bonded, and that goes to the ground loop, whatever you want to call it, the ground conductors. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure that I fully understand the concept there of why it's bonded there and then we bond it at neutral, but everything goes back to ground or to neutral, which I guess goes back to ground. I don't know where it goes when it leaves here. So that's basically one thing we've got left to do. We're gonna have to do that ground conductors into the actual earth. On this side, let's see, from the disconnect we've come into the transfer switch, so that's our lines going in at the top there, the line. This is our load, which goes out that way to the panel. So remember, on the inside I changed my whole direction of wires because I didn't want these wires running down and getting in the way of my grounding bars or my neutral bars. I went ahead and did that out here. I ran the two wires on this side because I don't think I'm gonna have, you know, you don't have knockouts all over the place on these outdoor panels, so I'm not going to have wires going out the sides and everything. So as far as being able to stick ground wires into the ground, I should be able to work around these two wires. Just, you know, lift them up a little bit and run the ground wires underneath that. The neutral wires, same thing. I should be able to work them around everything and have enough area there to do it. I can pull these out actually and run them kind of up the side, and then run all them other wires underneath there if I have wires going there. So I think I got room to work around it. And the difference, like I say, is there's not a bunch of knockouts to do that. I am going to drill knockouts in this thing, a few, but I'll be able to put them wherever I want, and most of them would be on this side, or if they're on the other side, it's fine. I'll be able to work with it. So I think I've got enough flexibility there that we're good to go. And the other way, it's pretty much the same thing. We come out of the meter base into the other disconnect. Neutral is bonded. Ground wire goes into the transfer switch. Lines coming in, going up and around, that's your line. Lines going out, go inside the building, that's your load. And that goes to the panel on the inside that we already set up. The only thing I did not do is I was going to run a wire from here over to the other transfer switch to run that in parallel. The problem is that maybe I didn't do very well, but I really don't have room in the conduit with all this mess going back and forth. I mean, sure, there's room technically by the book. It's 2.5-inch conduit, and it should be able to handle the 6 wires going through it. The problem is that just based on the way they laid out, that I think it'll be a lot of work to try to get those 3 conductors through there, and I'm not sure that I want to do that. So I think I'm going to work out something else. Probably run conduit over the top and do it that way, or maybe down the bottom. If I do it down the bottom, then I'm going to have to go around the service connection, because that's another piece that I've got to do. Is I'll take out this knockout, run some heavy conduit down underground, and that'll go over to where the transformer is going to sit. So that's another big project that I've got left to do. Of course, rodents got in my excavator again and chewed wires, so it won't start. So I got to go in there and go through all the wiring and find where all they chewed, fix it, and get it running again. Seems like I've been doing this every year. Damn rodents. Anyway, that's, another project that I've got to do. And the other option, of course, is not to hook a generator to this transfer switch. Leave these terminals open, and then be able to hook a generator up directly to it if I really need to run anything on the outside, and I can determine what size generator I hook up based on what I need to run. So that's a possibility. Don't know. I got enough wire left that I can connect the two and run them in parallel. I got that one set up that way, but I'm going to put some more thought into it. So that's something that I can do at any time. I don't have to do it now. I was going to have to do it in the beginning, because if I was going to pass wires through this meter box, I have to do that up front, because once the power company puts the meter in it, they'll put a seal on that, and then I'm not allowed to get in there anymore. And really, it's not a big deal. So I think we're going to be better off this way in the long run. That's where we're at. Do have some few other little tidying up things to do, but for the most part, we're getting close to finishing the wiring portion of this part. The big wires, that's a whole nother job, running those service lines. I mean, those things are about 1 inch thick each, and pulling those through conduit and everything's going to be a adventure all in itself. So we'll get to that one when we get to it. Well, folks, if you stuck with us this long, I appreciate you watching the video. Most people don't make it through all the way because, hey, we're not that exciting. Maybe someday we will be, I don't know. But we just keep sharing what we're doing with the hopes that it's helping somebody out. And if nothing else, maybe you get a laugh out of all the things we do wrong. But regardless, we're getting it done, and we do appreciate you joining us. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Most of our viewers are not subscribers. That's what our statistics tell us. But we do appreciate you watching, and we hope you stick with us as we continue this adventure and continue sharing all the different things we're doing. As always, folks, take care. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.